Hi, this is Aditya from Just Tutors, and in this video we are going to learn about weather, climate and adaptation of animals to climate. So today we have three subtopics. We learn about weather, then we'll move on to climate, and at the end we learn about the climate adaptation of animals. So let's talk about weather first. And now the state of atmosphere at a particular place and time in which we consider the heat, the cloudiness, the dryness and the sunshine along with the wind, speed and the rain is termed as weather. Now as you can see in this picture we've got a few symbols which we use to define the weather of a particular place at a particular time. Now it has a very profound effect on our lives. Many of our daily activities are planned based on the weather predicted for that day. Now we cannot control weather. Instead, the weather often controls how and where we live, what we do, what we wear, and what we eat. Now, someone who studies the weather is called a meteorologist. You must have seen the daily reports of the weather on televisions and radios, or maybe in the newspapers. Now, in the picture right here, you've been shown the weather of Thursday starting from 6 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. Now that is how it changes from the morning to the evening. The symbols have their usual meaning. Now this one right here, the sun is for the bright and sunny days and the clouds are there if it's about to rain or there's a possibility. Now weather on its own has got different components. Now these components have been listed right here on this slide. First one would be the wind, and in that we consider the wind direction and the wind speed. Then comes precipitation, which includes rainfall, snowfall and hailstorms. Another important component would be the temperature, in which we are considered about the maximum and the minimum temperature. Then these are some other components like sunshine, visibility, humidity is the moisture content in the air pressure and also the clouds. Now, in order to read the weather of a particular place at a particular time, we need to be very considerate about these components. Now, moving on to the climate. Now, the average weather over a long period of time is termed to as climate of a particular place. Now, the standard averaging period is 30 years, but other periods may be used depending on the purpose. Right here on this picture you can see the different temperatures of different places that have been read over a period of 30 years. Now this right here is the measure of the sea surface temperature in degrees Celsius along the globe. Now as I told you, climate is the narrow sense in which we read the average weather. Now the quantities that are most often used as surface variables would be temperature, precipitation and wind when we are working out the climate of a particular place. Next up on the list would be climate and adaptation. Now climate adaptation is the behavior of living organisms that develops in response to the changes in the climate and the habitat. Now such adaptations could include physical changes such as skin or the fur color and composition changes as well. It can also be the adaptations in the behavior such as burrowing into the ground or spending more time in water. Now these are not really permanent traits. It's just the quality of the organism to adapt to certain environmental changes. Let's talk about a few examples of adaptation of animals. Now we'll all be only be discussing about the animals living in the polar regions and in the tropical rainforests. Now we all are aware that the Amazon forests have got a large and a variety of species, so it's actually a massive biodiversity with animal ranging from a small cricket to a huge alligator. Talking about the polar regions, the animals in these regions are usually white or you can say light colored. Some common examples would be polar bears or penguins, as shown in the pictures right here. Now, these animals can store fat in their body as they eat a lot during the summer. It also helps them maintaining their body temperature and also in camouflaging. Now, now talking about the tropical rainforests, now here the plants and the animals have to adapt to a high level of precipitation and also high temperatures, most commonly about 25 degrees Celsius. Now the soils in the forest are reasonably nutrient poor in the lower layers and hence they rely upon the rapid decomposition of dead plants and animal matter for their nutrients. Most of the nutrients are washed out by the soil due to abundant rainfall. Now we've come on to the practice questions, so you can pause the video and think about the questions based on whatever we have learned so far. So the first question is about weather components. This is something that we have covered in this video, so you can go back and look at them. Two animals that we can find in polar regions, so we've discussed this as well. One would be the polar bear and second one would be the penguin. Then there are questions on climate adaptation and also why birds migrate. So a common answer would be because of the climatic conditions. Similarly, trying to think about the other questions as well. So that would be all for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please visit juststudios.com for more.